it's not, you just don't reach to the plan, to the shelf and pull the book down and say page 3, page 4. But what are the typical ingredients of this type of planning? Because I think I get it, and I think a lot of our listeners, at least intellectually, get it that okay, I got to clean up where I am. I need to decide where I want to be, and then I got to start charting out a course to get there. That makes perfect sense. And these are business people, so they're not, many of them at least are not financially illiterate, but what are the components that go into that? And I ask you that as a guy who's done business planning and strategic planning for years, and I've kind of gotten it down to little bit of a template. It's not automatic, but it's kind of like if you answer these 5 or 6 questions and thoughtfully do it, you're going to have a decent plan, better than probably 80% of the plans that are out there. Are there ways, in your financial world to do the same thing?
Yes. In fact, I'll send you a tool. I'll send you a link to a tool. It's called Find Your Number. And your audience can use it. We'll give you free access to it. But what a lot of people are missing is a date specific, dollar specific plan. And what ends up happening is most people don't save at all. For the people that do, they're more collecting investments rather than strategically building towards a desired outcome. There's a world of difference between somebody who is investing for something specific in the future and somebody who's just collecting investment products. So when I say a date specific, dollar specific plan, this is what I mean. At a point in the future, could be 5 years, 10 years, whatever, I don't care. You're going to pick the date and you're going to pick a dollar amount that would give you the freedom to live comfortably without a paycheck and pursue the life that you believe God is calling you to. Everybody's number is going to be different, and you might be off a little bit. It might start with an educated guess. It might start with a fairly arbitrary guess, but the point is having something, a dollar specific, date specific goal in the future where you can aim all of your tools at and say, okay, this is where I want to go. And then you iterate that plan as you go, because my goals 5 years ago for that are different than they are today. And you just revise, you update the plan, you recalibrate your course. But having a date specific, dollar specific plan for your finances is vitally important. Almost nobody has that because there is an actual number, your number for financial freedom. And that's what this tool will help you get. But if I ask people, how much money, Mike, would it take pretty much exactly for you to live comfortably without a paycheck for a very long time? Almost nobody knows that answer. Most people don't even know what they need next month to live comfortably without a paycheck.
Wow. So all right. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, all right, there's a trap here. Now, you're not laying a trap, but there's a trap for people because if they listen to you and don't really get where you're coming from, they think, oh, you just mean saving up for retirement. So I can go play golf, I can go live on the beach, I can do whatever. I don't think either one of us believes that retirement is not working or being productive. Golf is great, no problem. I mean, I don't know if you play much golf in Alaska, but maybe with an orange ball. But I think so many people, particularly in the West, think this number you just talked about. I'm going to save up. I'm going to have that number. I can quit my job, and I'm home free. And I will tell you from my own experience, when I was first married, we lived on Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, which is a big time retirement community. Back then, they used to publish whatever hot dog, whatever high level military brass or high level corporate exec was moving and retiring to the island, and they would publish it in the local paper. And a friend of mine said, Mike, put a pin in your calendar that Joe Blow retired on this day, moved down here. He'll be dead in 6 months. And I thought, oh, you're kidding me. Well, he was the guy that told me, he was dead right. No pun intended. He was absolutely correct. The guy he'd be gone. His wife would live on, but he was gone because he'd not found a purpose. And so I retired from my company. We sold it a year later, but I started working. I retired on Friday. Retirement was my exit term. I left on Friday. I started a new company on Monday because I love what I do. Why would I not want to do that? Plus I stink at golf, so that's never been a temptation. But I know you're not talking about that. You think differently because you think differently about money and planning and the number. And then you use the phrase, you say, to be able to do whatever you think God is calling you to do. Talk about that just a little bit, because I want to make sure that our audience gets this, but that sometimes there's a tendency to think, oh, they're just talking about retirement and I'll never retire. Well, that's not what we're talking about.
It's about having a job optional lifestyle where you no longer require your paycheck to maintain your lifestyle and to maintain or even create the lifestyle that you believe God is calling you to. God is calling each of us to some sort of meaningful pursuit. I know what part of yours is, Mike. I don't know what all of it is. I know a lot of what mine is, but you have to have meaningful pursuit. And what I see is different. People don't necessarily die. I mean, sometimes we see people retired, they work, 40 years, they retire on a mound of money and then die on that same mound of money a few months later. But what I see a lot more often than that is people stop living
Mm.
and they stop pursuing things. They start getting comfortable. Comfort leads to complacency, and that leads to compromise. That's the trajectory. And the people who are ambitious enough to no longer need a paycheck to retire are the worst type of people to not have meaningful pursuit. And it can't just be meaningful. It can't just be like, oh, we're involved and we teach some Sunday school and all that. Like that might be your thing. That might be fine. But it's got to be something that challenges you and that stretches you, that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. There has to be pursuit. The word that Paul uses in Philippians 3, where he talks about, I have not been yet perfected, but yet I pursue, I push forward to lay a hold of that which God has already laid a hold of me. There's a perfection, there's a process. The word he uses to pursue is the same word that you could use of a cheetah chasing down a gazelle, a pursuit of prey. But there's an intensity to it. It isn't just like, oh, this is cool, this is nice, I enjoy this. This makes this fills up my heart and it gives me the warm fuzzies. No, it's got to be something we can pin our ears back and go after. And for everybody, it's going to be a little bit different. But retirement is not avoiding work. It's not quitting your career. It's taking your energy, your natural God gifting ability, and focusing on something that is incredibly meaningful and purposeful to you.
I love that you said that, and that's exactly how I feel about it. I mean, I knew the reason I stepped away from my company, the Lord basically led me to do that, and I knew it was time sort of to go do something else, not to not do anything, to go do something else. And it's been incredibly, that's been 5 years, and I've, Lord willing, another 15 or 20 years. But like my dad, I got a long time to go. And my dad, he retired. He was a classic guy. Retired at 65. Got the gold watch ceremony at a Friday night dinner. On Monday, started his own company, doing exactly the same thing. I'd always admired that. I thought, okay, but this time I said, why are you doing this? Just because I want to. And what a great answer. So,
Yeah.
all right. So we're going to.